We don't know the size of the shortfall yet. We'll know a little bit more on Monday when the comptroller releases her revenue estimate. We think it's going to be Monday morning. Not much of a news day on Monday, obviously. The question, though, no matter what the size of the revenue estimate is and whatever the size of the shortfall is, you all are going to have some very hard choices to make. As my colleague, Mr. Ramsey, points out, of a $181 billion biennial budget, only about $81 billion is unrestricted. The great majority of the money that's unrestricted that can be cut is in higher ed, public ed, and health and human services. Right. Mr. Isaac, where do you go first to cut the budget?
I think one area that you look at is open positions within the state agencies right now. That's about, I've seen projections out there, $1.2 to $1.3 billion could be eliminated.
These are jobs that are unfilled that would just simply be unfilled.
Correct. Yeah, I think that's one area, one key area where you look that doesn't hurt anybody specifically.
And you want to talk about public ed, higher ed, health and human services. Is there money to be cut that you can identify for us, do you think, areas of those programs that we should be targeting?
Not that I can identify right now, but there certainly, it's going to be painful for everyone. Everyone's going to have to make cuts. I know that, and I think the legislation is going to do it to ourselves. When I first learned of our budget, I immediately said we're going to learn to do with 10% less. We're asking state agencies to make these tough cuts, and we've got to set the examples in the Capitol. So we cut our state office budget 10%. We're going to cut our per diems, I believe, at least 10%, and then do that officially to ourselves in the House probably on the first or second day.
Can I have your 10%? Because I'm short.
Yeah, we all are.
In the end, Mr. Isaac, though, what's going to be asked of state agencies and other people who are receiving state money right now is likely to be more than 10%. Will every House member and every House office pledge to cut an equivalent percentage from its budget? Will you all pledge to cut an equivalent percent from your budget if state agencies and others are asked to cut more than 10%?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. If we can get the Senate to do it, then I think the House will do it as well.
Can you get the Senate to do it, Mr. Workman?
I can't get anybody to do anything.
You want to persuade the Senate to do it? Mr. Workman, where should we cut? You understand, again, that very high percentage of what we're talking about are dollars that go to people who voted for all of you. It's not just cutting schools, it's cutting schools in Travis County and in Hayes County and in Williamson County, health care in Travis and Hayes and Williamson. Where do you go?
The overriding thing is that we have to do, whatever we do, we have to do it without increasing taxes. And I'll tell you a story. I have a friend that was a senior project manager at Motorola for 15 or 20 years, left there and went to a startup for about 5 or 6 years. The company got in trouble. He got laid off. He's been out of work for over 2 years. How can I possibly look at him and say, I know it's been tough on you, but we're going to raise your taxes? And we're just not going to do that. We will do it within the available revenue. And I'm not sure. The budget is 400 or 500 pages. And it entails many, many items, and all of those are going to have to be looked at. And each agency is going to have to look at their individual line items, hopefully starting from zero and working their way up to come to a budget that will work. Maybe there are things out there they don't need to do anymore that they need to identify. Yes, it will be tough on some state employees.
Mr. Gonzales, Mr. Workman says he doesn't support new taxes. Who does support new taxes right now?
You know, none of my colleagues, I don't think. You know, Evan, here's the question. If you've got expenses here and, you know, revenue here, you have two choices. You either raise your revenues to get here or you cut your expenses to get here. And so the premise that I'm walking into this with is we need to cut our expenses to meet our revenues. What I've seen from the agencies that I like a lot is I've noticed that our agencies are doing a very good job of getting to that number. I haven't seen anybody that, say, getting to 10%, goes 10% across the board. It's been interesting to watch them, I think, with more of a scalpel than a sledgehammer. Line item by line item, they're going to get to that number, but it may mean that someone loses 0%, maybe a line item loses 100%, maybe someone loses 30%. It's an exercise of reprioritizing what we do as a state government. And the agencies, I feel, are doing a great job of doing that because there are cuts and there are efficiencies. Cuts are the immediate, short-term, get to a number. Efficiencies are a well-thought-out plan, longer-scale model for how you get to a number. And so what I've seen that I like is more of an efficiency model from the agencies going through there and just with a scalpel understanding and reprioritizing what it is they do. And as long as they get to that number, I think we'll be in great shape.
But you're talking about a biennial budget. We're just talking about 2 years. In 2 years, short-term cuts and deficiencies ultimately happen over the same very small time frame.
But you are framing going forward past that.
You like Mr. Workman, oppose all new taxes.
That's correct.
Mr. Isaac, you like Mr. Workman, Mr. Gonzales, I'm guessing oppose all new taxes.
Correct.
Do you also oppose, Mr. Isaac, all new revenue? There is a distinction that has been made about new taxes and new revenue. Mrs. Wolgemuth, former member of the House, now at the Texas Public Policy Foundation, among others, has been advocating for not just no tax revenue, but no revenue, period. That we simply have to live within the existing revenue footprint, so any increases in fees, no. Gambling, no. No revenue of any kind. Mr. Isaac, where are you on that?
When you say all new revenue, again, it's a definite. And I would have to say, no, I'm not in favor of looking for additional revenue. One area in particular is the Texas State Securities Board, where we have this opportunity where this agency brings in about $194 million a year to our general revenue at a cost of $6.9 million. That agency recently has increased their authority because of the Dodd-Frank legislation, which they've gone from managing and overseeing companies who have funds that are approximately $25 million. Now they have that authority up to $100 million. So it's where we've had these Texans who are making these investments who have been at risk. I kind of refer to them as the mini Madoffs. We're not hearing about them. We're not protecting Texans, but it's bringing in a significant portion of revenue to our general fund. They've asked for 10 additional new employees because they've gone, again, from $25 million to $100 million of companies' managed funds. So I think that's something that the governor has signed off on, but the LBB has restricted those. That's an opportunity for us to protect Texans and their investments and also bring in new revenue to the state.
So you are open to the idea of some new revenue. It's just a question of which new revenue.
Yes.